Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world away and it's a brand new week. I'm in my military get-up today because today I'm going to be doing pack 2 of the Agora Models release and build the SAS Willys Jeep. Now we had done the bonnet in stage 1 and we had also made a start on the engine, which is looking just like this, and today we are going to be building onto the engine, and it's quite a big box because we do have the massive chassis already, so we're going to be putting that, I believe, on the chassis. I know we're putting the suspension springs in as well. We'll have to check that anyway, but all the instructions for this are on the Agora Models website, and that's exactly where you can get this from. Now the link for that is in the video description. You've also got that QR code on the screen which not only tells you about every model I'm building, but also my Amazon store, my merch store, my Patreon, my channel members, everything you need is on there. And there's also a link to that in the video description should you not have a phone that scans QR codes. But I'm going to jump straight into that, so without further ado, let's get cracking. So let's start with stage 6 here. As you can see, we've got some tiny pieces in this, so I'm being gentle as I cut this out. Some of these parts, as you can see here, are metal as well. Just zoomed up a little bit on one of my cameras here because the first part I need looks like this, and I'm going to be putting this sleeve just over the top of that section just there. So that's looking just like this. Now I do believe we might have to push this down a little bit so it's got more of the top showing there. I now need this base because this whole thing here is going to fit into the base here. We do have a locating lug on this, so it's just a case of putting these together, pushing them in, so now that's one piece, but I am screwing this in just from the bottom with an AP screw. I have to say, this military wear that I got it from this army surplus at Duxford. It's surprisingly comfortable. I'm not about to just run out and join the military because I like the way they feel on my skin. Okay, I've got a small detail here now that I'm going to be putting on. And this is just going to push into the hole just on the side here. And they have got it a certain way round, so I'm just going to use my pliers just to rotate this to the position that they've got it. So it's facing like that. Bring over the engine because I'm about to put this into place. Just looks like I've got a broken spark plug here, so I'm going to have to fix that afterwards to put that into place. And this one here has come off as well, so let's do some repairs. So there we go, I've reattached this. I've just taken the lead off just while that sets at the moment. But there you go, that's that plug back in. What I can do now is take what we've just created here, and I'm going to be putting this just onto the edge here, holding it in with AP screws. So, one in there, and one just in the other side here. Perfect. Is how that's looking. Put that to one side. Got a couple more parts now to do. I've got to put a little bracket just onto this section here. Now the flat side, which hasn't got the lug on it, is going to need to go onto here so that the offset hole is on my left, and I'm going to be holding that in with a screw, and it is the screw of choice for this stage, which is the AP screw. Perfect. And then this whole detail is going to be going onto the engine. It's going to be fitting into the two holes that we've just got here. So the larger hole is for the lug, and the smaller hole would be for the screw. But I will open a DM screw now because that's what I need to actually attach this. And I'll put this into place. There you go. That one's in. The next detail here is going to be going into just this middle section, this way round, like that. And once again, it's going to be a DM screw through this part here, which is going to hold that into place. Perfect. Just put that to one side while I take this bell housing and this looks like a starter motor here. And I'm going to be wanting to put this into position just on here. So put the lug just over the hole. So then that's lining up like that there. This time I want an AP screw to put this in. It's going to hold that in nice and tight. Perfect. So that's on like that. And then all I'm going to do is look at this side of the engine. I'm going to be putting this into place. It's just going to line up with the holes there. So when that's in, that should look like that. And I'm holding it in with DM screws. They're going to be going in through the back side here, just like this. Perfect. And I need one on the other side, just in there like that. And with that done, that's in place. One more thing to put in which is this lead, which I'm going to need to cut down. So I want one length to be 7.5 centimeters, which is there. And then I'm going to need one piece to be 5 centimeters, which is there. Can get rid of the excess. Now the 7 centimeter one is going to be going onto this silver point here, just like that. And the other side is going onto the peg just at the top here. So that's looking like that. And then this smaller cable is going to go on the nipple on the side of the engine just here. Probably going to need my tweezers for this. So make sure that's always on. And then the smaller one's going onto the nipple just below it there. So that's how that looks. With that in place, that's all there is to do in that stage. Okay, stage 7. Look, fiddly bits again. Get all these out. And straight away off the bat, we are going to be cutting some pipe down here. So I need a 9 centimeter section. And I need a 2.5 centimeter section. Small little bit there. I want to take this detail here. I've got an orange section I'm going to be putting just into the end. And it just pushes into place like this. So that's nice and flush. And the small pipe that we just created is going to be going just onto the end of that. Perfect. I'm going to be putting this onto the engine here, and it's going to go into the hole just at the top there. Just like that. It's going to be held in with a DM screw. Still have one of them left over from the other stage, rather than open a new one. Perfect. And when you screw that nice and tight, you want to make sure that this lines up with this detail just at the bottom there. Put that to one side. I'm going to be creating what looks like a... Is this an alternator? I think it's an alternator because we're going to be putting a cap down the top just on this section here. That looks very alternator-ish. Then I've got a pulley drive, which is going to be going on top of that, which means I'm putting this disc on this side. As you can see, it makes a pulley. And I'm holding that in with a BP screw. Just through the top there. Excellent. This is then going to be going onto the engine, just into this position right there. And that's going to be held in with a DM screw. Anyone who hasn't built these models now, I'm sure you can see how detailed these actually are. But there we go. That's the alternator in place. I think that was the alternator. I've got this part here now, which I'm just putting in. I've got no idea. Is this some sort of water pump or something? I don't know. Okay, the next part's going to be quite fun to put in. What I need to do is I've got a sprue with a couple of nipples on here. So I'm going to put some glue just on one side. I'm going to be putting this into the hole just at the top here. Just like that. And then I'm going to get my sprue cutters and I want to snip this just by the actual sprue tree. So there. And as you can see, that nipple stays into place there. I've then got this bracket which is going to go over the top of this section here. So I'm lining up all the holes, so that's sitting on just like that. And that's held in with a BP screw just through the top here. Perfect. Then got this long pipe, which is now going to go on top of the nipple we just put in. So get your tweezers at the hand and rock this into position. If it's not going in, although mine is now, then you might want to stick a cocktail stick just down the end of the pipe. But there we go, that's in all the way. I've got another bracket here, which is going to be going on the bottom this way round. So there you go, that's locked into position there. And then holding this with my finger, I'm going to be putting this on the top of the engine here. So it's going to go in just like that there. Now I need 2 AM screws first off to put this in. So let me just grab them. So I'll just get the first AM screw here, and then that should hold all of this together. so I can let it go. And then I just want AM screws in the other two holes here. Whoops, that's fallen off. Actually, you could probably put that bit in first, couldn't you? As you see, this clips in on top of that, which will then allow you to screw this part in. Perfect. One more AM screw to put into place, and that is perfectly fixed into position. Now, the long lead coming off of this, I now want to put through the hole at the end of the bracket just here. Requires tweezers. And this is basically going to be going underneath this reservoir, whatever this is, into the nipple just here. I'm sure it's water related, but there you go. That's in place. And that is all there is to do in that stage. We do have a spare nipple here. So continuing on this very detailed engine, looks like we're doing things for the cooling system now. We've got the fans and belts here. Get this open. So first thing I need to make a pulley. These two sections here, locate the lugs, get them attached, and then you'll find you've made a pulley. This is going to be going onto the shaft just here. And I want it so that, oh, that just fell out. Hang on a second. This is just going to be going onto the shaft just here, like that. And it's going to be held in with a DM screw. That is the first pulley in place. Let's put that to one side, move this over the way and bring the engine over, because I've got this detail here to put in now, which looks like it's going onto the engine block here, just at the top. So we do have a locating lug in here. So that's going to sit in like that. Once again, a DM screw just through this hole will keep that into place. Obviously, this is a spindle for a pulley going to go on there. I'm going to make another pulley now. There's a little notch in this one. So when we put these two together, we want to make sure the notches match up so they fit flush together just like that. And I want the flatter side to be fitting onto this main spindle I just put in here. So that's going to go on top just like that there. I've then got the fan that can fit on top of that. So that's going to be going in, let me get this the right way round, this way round, so the blades are actually facing down. So I was right first time there. It's going to go on there, and it's being held in with a DP screw. That's all going to fall off while I get that ready. So just like this, and I'll get that nice and tight into place. Just notice that the fan does have a lug on it, so you do want to make sure it's fitting flush on there before you tighten this fully. Easiest way is to hold it by two of the fan fins there. Once you've got it lined up, then get that in. And there we go. That's in position just like that. Got a massive pipe now, which I'm going to be putting into place just under this section here. Got to wiggle it into position because we do have this detail here as well. As you can see, it does take some wiggling in there. There's going to be no screws holding this in, so you do want to make sure it's kind of flush in there. So I am using just some pliers just each side to ensure that that's pressed in like that. And then take what we've created here. This is going to be adding another pulley to this section we've got here. And we do have a locating lug on this, so it's going to go on just like this here. Make sure the lug's in the hole. Perfect. And I'm holding that together with a DM screw. And then all that's left to do is over these three pulleys that we've got is put the belt over. So put it over the fan first, then this pulley here, and then the one down the bottom. Try not to get any twists in that belt, but there we go. That's the belt into place, looking like that. I believe that's all there is to do in that stage. So stage 9 is a complete monster. As you can see in the box here, we've got the metal chassis. I mean, look at it. It looks lovely. Oh, wow. Quite heavy as well. We don't actually do anything in stage 9 apart from open this. So I'm just going to put that to one side and we'll work on stage 10. And as you can see in stage 10 now, we've got these camo coloured parts which we're going to be putting into place. Now these are affectionately called the Bumperettes. We've got some material in here as well looking like this. So, going to want this side of the chassis, and these are going to be in there as a direction. We want these facing up to us. So these are just going to be going in either side here. So one there, and one this side just over here. And they're held in from the other side with DM screws. And what I like about these screws, we'll put them in a bit of oil, is they are color coded, as you can see. So when I start screwing these in, they're going to match the paintwork. So I want 2 each side. Now those belts I showed you before, those bits of material, we don't actually use them in this stage. So you do need to keep them safe. Don't know when we're using them actually. I think that's probably part of the interior, I don't know. But I do have a stash of parts. To get to the inside ones, it's probably best to turn it over. Just like that. And then you can get quite easily into there. But with this last screw just going into place here, that is all there is to do in that stage. Just a reminder, you want to keep this safe. In stage 11, we're going to be starting to build the transmission assembly. Again, we've got some color-coded screws here, which are DM color-coded and CP color. Color-coded? They're just colored. Okay, bring over the chassis here. And I've got this detail just here that I'm going to need to put into place. This actually just fits on top like that. I'm going to want the CP screws. And I'm going to be screwing this in from the underside here in 2 places. I've then got this detail here. We need to make sure we get the orientation right on here. So where we've got this squarish section rather than the roundish section, I want that facing towards the detail we just put in. So this is going to go in this way, just like that there. Now this time that's been held in with an FM screw. All the screws in this stage looks like they've got this camo colour on them. When I hold it upright to make sure that this goes in nice and square. There we go, that's in. Just put that to one side while I bring out these items here. It's this one that I want first. I've got a part to put in here, which looks just like this. It's actually just going to be slipping onto one side like that. There. Got another part that's going to do exactly the same thing, this one here, on this side. So I'm holding that now with my hands. Then I want to put the top over, which is going to clamp all this together. Just like that. So there we go. That's how it looks from that side. The other side's clear. I am holding this together with CP screws. They're just going into the holes just at the side. That's going to hold all this together. Then put that to one side while I'm just building this section here, which is just a case of putting these 2 parts here together like that. And again, CP screws to hold that into place. That's the second one there. And then this is going to be attaching to that spindle just there. It's going to be this way around with this side facing upwards. So it's going to go in like that. Once again, held in with a CP screw. Perfect. And that's that into place. Now, I've got a little detail here, which is on a sprue, which I'm going to need to cut off. So you want to cut this off just as the detail finishes. There. Very tiny part this is. This is going to be going just onto the hole at the bottom there. Sort of like a cap this is. Push that all the way in like that. And then bringing over the chassis again, this is actually just going to be sitting in here just like that there. It's held in with a DM screw. And make sure that's in nice and tight. Perfect. And with that done, that's all there is to do in that stage. So in stage 12, we've got the first of the leaf springs. All metal. And they are one big chunk of metal they are. Now what I'm going to need to do is have these this way round here. So we've got these sections here facing up. I'm going to put a detail on here, which is a bracket. It's just going to go in there like that. They've provided CM screws again to put this into place. There's a lot of them. So CM screws through the top. I do want the bracket to be this way round, and I've got it here. Excellent. I've then got this other triangular bracket here, which is going to go just into the position there Once again, that's held in with CM screws. I've got this U-shaped part now, which is actually just going to be feeding through this section here, like that. And there's a little bend on this. We want the bend to be facing towards the car. So when I put this on, this is actually going to be going on this way here, just onto the end like this. So that's kind of how it's going to be fitting into position. Holding that in once again with a CM screw. Perfect. Excellent. And we're going to be now putting the leaf spring into place. Now, it is slightly different. Basically, one of these rings here is larger. I want the larger ring here, which is going to be going over the vacant section just at the top there. And then what we're going to do is bring up this side that I've just put in, that little clamp, and roll it up that way, hold it in with a CM screw, and then that, cleverly, is going to secure that leaf spring into place just on this side here. Very clever that was. Bring the other side over here. And in the same way, I've got one of these little clamp things to put into place. I need to make sure I put this in the right way. So it's going in that way there, just through the side to hold this into place. And I'm going to want to put the other one in just on the other side over here, again with a CM screw. Once again, make sure we put this in the right way, because there's a bend on it and I want the bend to be sort of coming out from the chassis frame. So that's into place. Now obviously, eventually this is going to be holding the suspension in here, I'm guessing, because at the moment that suspension doesn't just fit in there. The screws don't hold it, but that's both of those in place. That's all there is to do in that stage. So I believe we are now on the last stage of this pack. So this is stage 13. And again, we've got a leaf spring. Guess where this is going? We're going to mimic everything we've just done. So I should be able to whiz through this. Make sure we put this bracket on right. That's going to go in there, held in with CM screws. Perfect. I'll put the bracket in on the middle section here. Just going in there. And again, CM screws. Put this U-bolt in with the larger section through the hole here. That's going to go fitted on like that. One of these little clips here. And again, making sure it's in the right way. CM screw will hold that in just here. Which is perfect. And then just roll up the top in a second, because I've got to put the leaf spring on. Just like this. Roll this up. Then a CM screw to clamp that into place. Now on this side, we've got some GM screws to put into place, but slightly different from how we had it on the other one. So I'll take a GM screw, and this is just going to go through this whole section all the way through the other side here. So let's get that all the way in, make sure it goes into the leaf spring. I want the leaf spring to be pulled back if it's not lined up perfectly, just like this. See, because it can move backwards and forwards. There we go. And get this screw all the way through. Ensure it engages okay on the other side, which it has. So there you go, that's that into place. And with that in place, that is all there is to do in that stage. So obviously we're not attaching this one yet, but that one has been fully fixed into there. But that's all there is to do in that stage, and that is all there is to do in that pack. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Thoroughly enjoyed it. There we go. That's how that's looking at the moment. Obviously, I don't know where the engine goes at the moment. Somewhere in the front, but I don't know how we mount that or anything. But obviously we've done the engine, we've done the chassis, we've got one leaf spring which isn't in place at the moment. So we're waiting to put that into place. Once again, if you do want to get this for yourself, have put a link in the video description, and you have got that QR code on the screen. But if you like that video, please remember to give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, 50% of you haven't subscribed, just click that subscribe button. It does cost you absolutely nothing. All it does is notify you when my next video is out. Anyway, hope you like that. Take care.